Hey guys, I wanted to get on and testify and share with you guys what is going on with my books and what God has done for me this last few days. So we hit a snag with getting my books to me. There was a miscommunication with the print house and with the editor, so I happened to call yesterday because I felt unctioned to call. So I did, and I realized that there was something holding it up, so we got that resolved. Good morning, Faith. But basically, to back up, yesterday morning I woke up, and I cannot say it was a prayer. I cannot say it was just a thought either. I got up and I was just wondering, what should I do about my books as far as financially wise, because I like to stay as debt-free as possible when it comes to ministry. And every year God has always worked something out for me, and it's usually amazing. So the first year it was my complete jump of faith, and the books paid for themselves and the editor fee in the first month, the first month. So there was no interest I had to worry about, nothing like that. The second book, basically the first one kind of helped with that mainly, and then the third book I called my credit card company and told them I was going to make a large purchase, and they gave me interest free for 1 year. So it took a couple months, but the third book was paid for, so that was awesome. So this year I didn't have that interest free option because my year was up. So I was just like, Lord, what am I going to do? How should I do this? Because it is a lot of money, and it's not a lot of money at the same time, but I try to be smart with it. I don't want to just be a burden to my husband, even though he would willingly and gladly pay for my ministry stuff. But I try to separate. I try to keep my ministry and my personal away from each other as much as possible. And so yesterday morning, I just said, all right, I finally made the conclusion or the decision. I was just going to put it on the credit card, and paying interest, all it was going to do is build my credit score. So I'm like, that's fine with me, So I was content with that. I finally said that's what's going to happen. So I was content. I was happy. Around the same time this is happening with me completely unaware, somebody was at their bank. The reason I know it was the same timing is because they gave me something, and there was a slip inside that had the date marked or the time marked, and it was around 10 a.m. I got a phone call yesterday, and somebody said, hey, are you home? There's something they need to bring to you. So they brought me like a little gift, like no big deal, but inside the gift bag was an envelope. And in the envelope was a rather large sum of money. And I'm like, what is this? Obviously the front of it said about sowing a seed that the Lord had told them to sow. And I asked, naturally, are you sure this is what you want to do? I instantly knew where it was going, why it was going there, and what it was going to do. But I didn't say nothing yet. I accepted it. I said I was going to pray about it, which I did. And then later I started adding numbers, and I realized the books were completely paid for with that and some ministry money I had already had set aside. So I was really happy, and I this morning I messaged this lady again, and I said, I just want you to know where it's going. I just want you to know what the Lord showed me yesterday. And I just said, and I happened to just say, the only thing we'll have to be paid for now is the editor fee. And she called me and she started crying. She said I missed it because she knows for a fact the Lord had told her to give a little bit more, but she was a little bit scared to go over what she gave me, because naturally, especially when you're larger sums of money, that's human. It takes a lot to trust the Lord, especially when you're giving for an important need, and I'm like, hey, that's totally fine, because what you did alone, you're paying for the book, so every single person that's going to get a form of deliverance out of these books, you're going to have a part in. I get a phone call A couple hours later, and she says, are you home? And I'm like, yeah. So here she is again with another envelope. She said, I missed it once, I won't miss it twice. So literally, these books, the very prayer I prayed yesterday, 10 o'clock, Lord, how should I move forward with these books? When I come to the decision, I will just put it on credit and just look at it in the positive light. It's going to build my credit. Lord already was making a way. He already was preparing the provision, and not only did he prepare it, he literally took care of the entire bulk of the finances at one shot. And I don't want to name the person because I don't want her to get glory through men. I believe and I'm trusting that God's going to do exactly what she needs him to do in her life. But how awesome is God at the exact same time? And like I said, the bank slip was in the envelope, and that's why I know it was the same time I was praying, Lord, we'll just do it this way then. I'm just going to put it on credit because this is, I know what you want me to do. And I'm just going to pay it off, and I'm just going to look at it as, yeah, you know, it's just going to build my credit. But the Lord was already making provision when I said, Lord, how will we move forward? How do you want me to handle the finances? God already was providing for me, and I didn't even know it. So how good is God that he provides the provision to everything that we need? Sometimes it does not look the way we think it's going to look. I never thought this person would show up at my door. I never thought I was getting what I was getting. Not because she's a bad girl, nothing like that, but because I just never seen it coming. I just would have thought she has needs, she has things to take care of, but how God placed it on somebody to be the provision, and not only that, but also be a part into other people that's going to get their deliverance and the help that they have needed in this book. Now, just another quick thing, just to talk about it, even though it's not in my hand yet, I have everything ready. I talked to the print house yesterday. They are starting to print now. I think they laid it out yesterday, so it should start the printing process today. I'm very happy and satisfied with the way everything has turned out. We've hit a couple snags, we've had a couple roadblocks, but I do believe it's still in God's timing. The enemy has tried to hinder it, yes, I know that, but it's still going to be in God's timing. So I believe that every person that's going to get this book is going to get some mental stability. The book is all about mind control. Mind control comes through a couple heads, and it could be adultery, and it could also be in the form of witchcraft. I go into great detail how we think witchcraft is just casting spells on somebody, but it's so much deeper. And we also believe that adultery is basically just worshiping another god, but how it's so much deeper and how it's so sneaky, and a lot of us get caught up in it, and we don't even realize we have got caught up into the acts of adultery, and how we have set up idols in our hearts, and we think it's got to be in the name of this god or that god or Buddha or Allah, but it's so much sneakier and it's so much deeper than that. How we can even worship our children, maybe not even realize it, how we worship and idolize our husband or friendships or celebrities. I talk deeply and intent on to the works of the flesh, because the spirit of mind control operates through works of this flesh and the sins of the flesh. So I go into and break down almost all of them. More than just a word on a page, I look into the Greek, I look in Hebrew, and I take the different definitions, and sometimes in a couple of them I even give my own coloring, I guess you could say, what it means more to me, and giving it more of a realistic look, because sometimes we see these words and we're like, how does that even apply? I talk a lot about depression and anxiety, because mind control is all about taking captive your mind. And if the enemy has your mind, he controls your mouth, he controls your ears, he controls your eyes. He does it because basically when our mind is completely wrapped up in the tentacles of the enemy, it colors and it affects the way we hear things, the way we see things, and that ultimately affects the way we talk. How we talk and the things that we say and agree with, that comes in, it creates an atmosphere, and in the atmosphere we live in, then that, positive or negative, we're stuck there. So the book is much there's a lot into it. It's a very heavy book. It's not a light book, because when someone is truly need deliverance in their mind, it's not a pretty thing. So it's not a pretty book. It's a heavy book. And I don't shy around certain things. I mean, I point blank talk. You know, that's kind of some of our problems, is sometimes we get embarrassed and we don't want to talk point blank about certain things. And you know, we just have to sometimes. If we want true deliverance and we want freedom, we have to just go for it. So that's what I did. I just went for it. I believe this book is going to bring deliverance to people. I believe this book is going to open your eyes to whys. Maybe we're like, why can't we get around this? Why can't we get delivered? I believe that it's going to answer some questions to the why. And in the revealing of the why is going to come the healing and kind of come the deliverance. So that's all I wanted to talk just quick this morning. I know I kind of rambled for a few minutes, but I couldn't help but share the goodness of God and how He was my provider once again. And even in the chaos I'm living right now, you know, with my boy and all the issues we're facing and just the craziness that's happening all around me, but how God is still providing, and He is making ways for me. Even if I'm not technically even asking Him to make that kind of way, He is. So I just wanted to share and encourage somebody's faith today that if you have issues, don't settle. God is the provider. It doesn't always happen when you want it, because I would have, I like all my I's dotted and T's crossed way in advance. And my I's are getting dotted, my T's are getting crossed at the very end. But regardless, God is providing for me right when I need Him to. So I just wanted to encourage you guys in the Lord. I wanted to just advertise my book for just a moment. It should be in my hand sometime next week. Lord willing, no more hindrance, no more delays, in Jesus' name. So keep a lookout for that.